Have you noticed small recurring charges slowly adding up on your bank statement? Subscription services are quietly changing the way we spend. From $5 streaming apps to monthly software fees, these services seem harmless at first, but over time, they can reshape your financial habits without you even realizing. Today, we'll explore 5 ways subscriptions influence spending behavior, from frictionless payments to status quo bias. By understanding these mechanisms, you'll see how your money is subtly redirected, how habits form, and what you can do to take intentional control. Let's dive in. 1. Frictionless payments and microtransactions. Traditionally, purchasing a product or software required a sizable one-time payment, forcing careful consideration. Subscription services remove that friction, breaking payments into smaller, recurring amounts. A $10 monthly fee feels trivial compared to a $120 annual payment, even though it totals the same. This creates a psychological perception of ease, making it easier to sign up impulsively. Microtransactions reduce mental barriers. Consumers often subscribe to multiple platforms simultaneously, from streaming services to fitness apps, rarely pausing to calculate cumulative costs. These small, frictionless payments embed spending habits, subtly conditioning consumers to expect ongoing access rather than ownership. Behaviorally, this model encourages engagement. Subscribers feel compelled to use services regularly to justify payments, reinforcing habitual behavior. For example, instead of buying a video game outright, a person may subscribe to a service providing access to multiple games. Subscription services also increase the perception of convenience and variety, which makes the recurring costs feel justified. Over time, frictionless microtransactions affect budgeting and decision-making. Funds that might have been spent on one-time purchases are now spread across multiple recurring payments, often without notice. Understanding the psychological effect is crucial for reclaiming control over finances and making intentional, value-driven decisions. Small obedience in reviewing subscription use can prevent overspending and foster awareness. By consciously evaluating these payments, consumers gain agency, ensuring subscriptions remain a tool for convenience rather than a hidden drain. Recognizing microtransactions' impact helps form healthier spending habits and reinforces mindful engagement with financial choices. 2. The sunk cost fallacy. Once a subscription is active, the sunk cost fallacy takes effect. Users often feel obligated to utilize the service to get their money's worth, even if actual usage is minimal. This psychological pressure alters behavior, leading consumers to prioritize subscription-based services over other purchases. For example, a person may continue watching shows or using a gym they no longer enjoy simply because they are paying for them. This not only reinforces habits, but shifts how discretionary funds are allocated. People may neglect alternative activities or one-time investments that could provide more value. Subscription providers leverage the sunk cost fallacy through retention tactics. Discounts for staying, pause options, and difficult cancellation processes increase inertia, making consumers less likely to opt out. Over time, this builds habitual behavior, subtly shaping preferences and decision-making without the user actively realizing it. Understanding this bias empowers consumers to make intentional choices. Regularly reviewing subscriptions and assessing value helps combat the influence of sunk costs. Reflecting on usage and relevance allows individuals to prioritize meaningful engagement, avoid unnecessary spending, and regain control over their financial behavior. Ultimately, the sunk cost fallacy demonstrates how subscriptions subtly manipulate psychological patterns, keeping users engaged in spending while conditioning habits that influence broader purchasing decisions. Awareness and intentional evaluation are the keys to maintaining agency over finances in a subscription-driven economy. 3. Subscription creep and budget masking. Have you ever checked your bank statement and wonder where all your money went, only to realize it's mostly small, recurring charges you barely noticed? This is the reality of subscription creep, where multiple low-cost subscriptions quietly accumulate over time, often unnoticed by consumers. A $5 or $10 monthly fee might feel trivial, but when combined with other services, streaming platforms, software, fitness apps, and digital tools can add up to hundreds of dollars annually. This hidden spending often leads to budget masking. Since auto-renewals rarely show up as a line item in mental budgets, consumers feel they're in control, even when cumulative costs shift money away from other priorities like savings, emergency funds, or one-time purchases. The psychological effect is subtle. Small, frictionless charges make spending feel less real, creating a false sense of financial security. Behaviorally, subscription creep encourages habitual engagement. People continue using services simply to justify recurring payments, even if usage is minimal. The combination of auto-renewals, minor hurdles for cancellation, and a sunk cost fallacy keeps users enrolled. Over time, this shifts spending habits, prioritizes subscriptions over essential expenses, and subtly conditions financial behavior without conscious awareness. Practical solutions include auditing all recurring payments monthly, tracking actual usage, and evaluating the necessity of each service. Journaling or listing subscriptions can highlight redundant or underused services. Setting reminders to review charges helps prevent unnoticed accumulation, ensuring your subscriptions are genuinely providing value. Understanding subscription creep empowers consumers to regain control. By combining reflection, evaluation, and intentional decision-making, subscriptions can serve convenience rather than silently eroding financial stability. Recognizing how these small charges accumulate fosters mindfulness, encourages better budgeting habits, and helps ensure that your spending aligns with priorities and long-term financial goals. 4. The shift from ownership to access. Idea of ownership into ongoing access. Where consumers once valued physically owning products, software, or media, they now often prioritize convenience, updates, and continuous access. Smaller monthly payments feel more manageable than a single large expense, even when the total annual cost is higher. This psychological shift subtly influences spending habits and priorities. Consider streaming platforms, which provide access to vast libraries of movies or music without owning a single copy. Cloud-based software allows users to receive constant updates without purchasing full licenses outright. This access over ownership mentality encourages users to spread spending across multiple services, focusing on convenience rather than long-term possession. Behaviorally, this reduces the perceived cost of engagement. Consumers are more willing to experiment with new services, maintain multiple subscriptions simultaneously, and continue paying for services they may barely use. Capital expenditures are replaced with recurring operating expenses, subtly influencing financial planning and budget allocation over time. Here's a question to consider. Have you ever kept a subscription you rarely use just because it's easier to stay enrolled than to cancel? This scenario illustrates how the shift to access can make users feel compelled to maintain services, even without active benefit. Over time, repeated patterns like this can quietly reshape consumer spending behavior. Understanding this shift empowers consumers to make conscious, intentional choices. By evaluating whether ongoing access truly provides value, or if ownership will be more cost-effective, users can prevent unnecessary spending and regain control over financial decisions. Recognizing this mindset also clarifies engagement behavior, helping avoid passive habits where people pay for services simply because access is ongoing. Ultimately, the transition from ownership to access changes both perception and action. Users develop new spending patterns, prioritize subscriptions over one-time purchases, and adjust long-term financial habits. Awareness of this shift is key to maintaining control, ensuring that recurring expenses serve meaningful personal or professional goals rather than simply filling a convenience gap. 5. Lock-in and status quo bias. Subscription providers rely on lock-in and status quo bias to retain users. Auto-renewals, minor cancellation barriers, and retention tactics make discontinuing inconvenient. People often continue paying simply to avoid the effort canceling, even if engagement is minimal. Status quo bias encourages inertia. Offers to pause subscriptions, discounted renewal deals, or hidden cancellation steps reinforce continued enrollment. Combined with the sunk cost fallacy, users feel compelled to justify payments, creating habitual engagement. Financially, this leads to prioritizing subscriptions over one-time purchases or alternative investments. Consumers may maintain services they rarely use, unknowingly shaping overall spending patterns. Over time, multiple subscriptions accumulate, altering discretionary spending and reinforcing habitual engagement. Practical solutions include regularly reviewing subscriptions, evaluating usage, and consciously deciding which services provide value. Awareness of lock-in tendencies and status quo bias empowers consumers to act intentionally, cancel services that no longer serve them, and regain control over spending. Understanding these behavioral mechanisms highlights how subscription services quietly influence consumer habits. Recognizing frictionless payments, the sunk cost fallacy, subscription creep, access over ownership, and lock-in bias allows individuals to engage wisely and intentionally, reclaiming agency over their financial behavior. Subscription services quietly shape our spending, from microtransactions and sunk costs to subscription creep and status quo bias. Understanding these subtle influences empowers you to regain control, make intentional choices, and spend in alignment with your priorities. Awareness of how subscriptions alter habits is the first step toward financial clarity and responsibility. If you found this video insightful, give it a like, share it with friends, and subscribe for more content like this. Pass it along to someone who might not realize how subscriptions quietly shape their spending habits and help them take control of their finances with smarter, intentional choices.